All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of On Top of the Market. Today, if y'all saw last episode, we have a special guest. This one's actually my client and neighbor, Dean. So give him an insight of what you kind of do and a day-to-day in your life, and then we'll just get into questions.
So basically, I'm a construction consultant for international construction consultancies. I've worked so obviously in London, the Middle East, and Dubai. I moved to San Francisco, I think like 2016, and then sort of moved over to the East Coast for a little bit, and then moved to Dallas in like November last year. So I've been here almost a year. So my role is to work on sort of large scale construction developments. Multi-story office projects, infrastructure projects, data centers, and essentially my role can take on a number of different parameters, but it's usually sort of cost management, project management, and sort of various different aspects of design management in terms of like lead and construction projects.
Yeah, so have you done that your whole life, or is it just kind of something you've done in Dallas, or is this the job that made you relocate?
No, like I graduated in 2000, when was it? 2011. So ever since I graduated university, I did a math related degree, kind of like sort of construction mathematics essentially, and went into straight into just basically reviewing design drawings for a consultancy in England. And then I would price those design drawings and create estimates from those design drawings. And then from then on, I just basically took every opportunity that came my way, traveled around the world, and then I got some amazing opportunities. Probably the best one was sort of at Google in San Francisco, I was there for like 5 years. Built some of the biggest projects in the world for Google, and I was lucky enough to spend like 5 years doing that. So you've got to just take opportunities as they come to you, and a lot of people will just stay in the same position in the same boat, and which is fine. But it's I just, if there's an opportunity to learn and grow and develop and enhance your skills and stuff like that, I'll just go do it.
No, definitely. I've heard that from a lot of people. Just take every single opportunity and just leave nothing behind, like leave nothing on the table.
Yeah.
So, I remember you told me about that San Francisco work, and it was the coolest story I've heard because, I have a real estate mindset, and, mine's more towards residential because obviously I work in residential, and you kind of on the commercial side and building those workplaces. What's your favorite part about that job? And then what kind of, like, in the real estate aspect, like what kind of stuff have you gained, like knowledge have you gained from doing it?
I think my favorite parts of the job is essentially it's crazy to, obviously, when we walked into the apartment building we live in, right, you would never believe that just begins with one drawing and a piece of paper, like
Exactly right.
And the best part about my job is just being able to, if I work on a project for like 3 to 4 years, I get to be there from day one, and sort of witness the first sort of concept of that building, which is, and then I will sort of be a project lead on the project and sort of deliver it all the way through to handing the keys over. So going from the drawing in a piece of paper, but 4 years later or 3 years later, being able to hand over keys to a building that people are walking around, it's insane.
Sounds like really cool.
Yeah, it's not something, as with any job, right? Like, you're gonna get boring days where it's monotonous, but then you get like with far more interesting days of construction, especially what I do. It's far more interesting days, but we can't have everything we want 24 hours a day, can we? So
no, exactly. And it's kind of the same thing with even real estate, like the new construction real estate. It all starts from a drawing. Some of them are all developments, and they all have like a plan. There's like 10 floor plans. They build them all on the same street. So
Yeah.
it's kind of that same. It's kind of the same thing. You see it from the beginning, and
Yeah.
it's just the coolest thing ever.
I think like things that you wouldn't think were interesting as well. I know when I say, oh, the mechanical and electrical aspects of it interesting, and like if you don't know about it and don't understand it, then trying to read it or look at it is you'll fall asleep. But if you understand how it works, it actually is pretty interesting, despite what everyone tells you. Like it is actually to work at it and have knowledge of sort of how things work in buildings, and you're like, oh, okay, that's the reason why when our power went out, right? It's just like, oh, I know why that happened. Like, but I'm still not gonna.
Yeah, that was kind of a crazy experience. I'll blast a clip of what it looked like in the garage right here.
Because I know how it works doesn't mean I'm gonna be able to fix it. So like, like,
Oh, exactly. It's like how do you fix this chair? I built it, but I don't know how to fix it.
yeah. Like,
All right, so I know like all the industries are always changing, right? Like we have even in our industry and sales in general, it's always there's a new thing, and new big thing around the block is obviously AI and artificial intelligence. We have Chat GPT everywhere. People are putting scripts into Chat GPT and just repeating it out to the world. So how is like does that have any effect on like what you're currently doing, or kind of like how does that work with the commercial buildings?
it's I mean, ChatGPT, or whether it's even going to be called ChatGPT in 5 years, but you know, it is what it is right now. I think regardless of anything, right, we know that the underlying infrastructure from ChatGPT is AI, right? It's just artificial intelligence, and whether we like it or not, we know that's going to be coming downstream, like within the next, especially in the next sort of 3 to 5 years. There's already companies
Exactly.
in the construction industry that are adopted it. And there's always this sort of approach from, well, we know the news sort of love a headline. So it's kind of like, you know, well, artificial intelligence, it's going to take all our jobs. Well, what in the reality is that it's not, right. It's
Exactly.
going to be a far more sophisticated tool that's going to enhance your capabilities and your skill sets, right? That's what it's there for, and it's going to be adopted in construction and healthcare, you know, manufacturing. It's going to be there to make our lives better. I really doubt that it's going to be something that will dislodge a lot of people's jobs. And then
I completely agree.
The thing people need to remember is that like there's growing pains with a lot of technologies, especially new ones. And with the technology we use right now in our normal daily lives is just AI is going to be used in that same fashion, but it's going to be you know, we're just going to have a more an advanced tool that we can use, because no matter what AI sort of provides you with, they still need people to interpret that information, and that will always be the case. So
yeah, always.
I think
Going off that, I mean, even with AI nowadays, I mean, they're saying that even in real estate, it's going to automate a lot of stuff. But I feel like at the end of the day, especially with trying to negotiate something, I mean, AI is not going to like really necessarily in the end run look out for best interests of people. I feel like that's more of a technological standpoint, like, oh, we got to push this. But I mean, I don't think AI will ever get to the point to where it's personable enough to, you know, be able to communicate with humans in like a sales standpoint or like a construction standpoint. It's always going to have that that third party to interpret it to somebody else.
Yeah,
definitely. I don't think it'll ever get to that point to where it's taking somebody's job, especially in sales, and pushing it to other people.
No, there might be some in like I said, there'll be growing pains in industries where that it will dislodge some people's roles, you know, in coaching and things like that. But we find a way of sort of becoming malleable, and we'll sort of be able to integrate that back into, you know, into our daily life, anything in our workplace. So I think especially in industries like construction, it's obviously we need people to put the bricks, you know, to put the foundations in the ground and build.
I can't build a building for you.
Like, you know, unless in 50 years we see robots sort of like building and in which case we're doomed. But
And in that case, we just better go to another planet.
yeah, I think it's just a more enhanced version of the tools we use, and I've tried it a few times. It's pretty good. There's plenty of teething issues which will sort of get better, but I think where construction could benefit from it is like procurement, like the purchase, like the see, like procurement is all based around time, cost, quality, and risk, right? Those are the main aspects, and in order for you to establish how to deliver a skyscraper or a mega project, those 4 parameters are something that needs to be addressed in detail. And if you can use AI to be able to manipulate that information and provide the best strategy for delivering a project, like really quickly and efficiently, that would be huge. Because design's obviously important, budget's obviously important, schedule's obviously important, but if you mess up the procurement route, all of these things suffer. So if you can use AI to sort of be able to, enhance those parts of construction or contracts, right? Like, you sat, think about the contract you signed here with in your apartment, right? Think about like how thick that thing is, right? Wouldn't you want something that can basically just, if you come across a problem, you could just have AI interpret that information quickly and tell you, if you do this, this happens. If you do this, this happens, right?
That's one thing I've noticed in my job, especially when trying to figure out, we have a lot of stuff we study. We study market stats. We study all this stuff happening with mortgage rates, interest rates, just all that type of stuff that we study. It can take information. So I write down all the numbers, it takes information. It can pull it all in and just make it in a more understandable fashion. So we deal with a lot of graphs. We deal with a lot of numbers, a lot of raw numbers. So it's really helpful in the regard to it just shows it and it runs the information so quick and so efficiently.
Yeah.
I mean, always double check it because nothing's ever perfect, but it's definitely helpful.
Yeah. It's like it's going to get to a point, right? Because when you look at ChatGPT, for example, and like I said, whether it's called ChatGPT in 5-10 years, who knows, right?
Yeah, it'll be called something else.
AI. You can actually, it's not just thing that it spits out and math and knowledge, but it's also images as well. It's also
I saw that is cool.
Yeah,
those are going to be really cool.
Yeah, it's also being able to manipulate images. So I could take a picture of you, and then I could say to AI, show me a picture of him on a basketball court, right? And it will manipulate an image of you and transpose it onto a basketball court.
And it'll make it look like seamless. It'll make it look like it's actually on a basketball court. I saw that on TikTok the other day. It was super cool. Like this new program that's coming out.
So in construction, I mean, even now, the way construction would benefit from it. So like, if for example, you're showing someone around the property, but there's no furniture in there, right? There's nothing like that. What a company with AI has done now is if you can take an image of the space and then AI furnishes the space.
Virtually stages it. Yeah. And you've had some run-ins with that recently. I was looking at different properties, especially apartment buildings in Dallas too, for rentals. They're not even furnishing their units some of them are, but some of them aren't. They're just doing the virtual staging route. And it's actually it's cost efficient. You don't have to move all the furniture in there, move it out, pay all that. But yeah, it looks really good online.
Yeah.
I would say the only issue with it is that when you actually physically go tour something, you go from seeing the furniture and then it goes to an empty space. So it looks way different.
Yeah. So it's, no, obviously there'll be teething issues with it. But imagine, for me, like I deal a lot of money in finance. AI, another benefit for AI could be like, if you could feed in an architectural drawing and it measures the whole thing and it prices the whole thing like this, right? That you would still need someone to interpret it, but you'd be like, oh my god, that would be insane. And they could, and the crazy thing about AI and ChatGPT, it's I don't believe it's actually connected to the internet. Like it's not.
It's just in a database. I think they're incorporating. I think they put like Microsoft or like Bing in there, and it's like a plugin, so it's like a separate thing.
Yeah.
But I think it only dates back to like what 2020. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's capped at a year.
It's 2020 or 2021. I think it's 2020.
Yeah, I think that's what it was or something.
So look, the possibilities are sort of endless with sort of ChatGPT, and I think you'll see it being implemented in various different industries, and especially in the next sort of 3 to 5 years, and especially with new technology as well. I mean, I saw the Apple presentation today with the glasses. That's basically the iPhone 1. And when that becomes, because the phone now, it's basically not going to change. It's not going
like at most it's already going to be.
The most it's always going to be. So that's the reason why they're not trying to do anything revolutionary with that. They're moving to the glasses. And I think in the next 5 years, you're going to see really I reckon in the next 5 years, you'll see people just with glasses.
No phone, there's no need for it.
Or and in 10, 15 years, we'll have contact lenses. So everyone, you wouldn't even know, you had a phone, but it'd be a contact lens. That's the thing. And so when you got AI with that type of thing, who knows? Who knows
what's going to happen?
You'll be
so I got some questions for you. So, the show is all about, this podcast is like based around providing value to people. So what got you into construction, first of all? And then what was that route like getting to your position? Because I know sometimes a lot of the time you have to work your way up in construction companies and start.
I actually, so I was supposed to go to Cambridge University to do geography, because I loved geography when I was 16. I just had an aptitude for geography. And my mother said I'm not allowed because she didn't want me to become a geography. No disrespect to geography teachers, but I think she might be so she said to me, just what else are you good at? And I was like, pretty good at math. And she said, well, go and do a math degree. So I did. And then that's kind of how I got into construction. And then I honestly, because I didn't know much about construction as I'm going through college or university, as I call it, I just picked the job that I thought would pay me the most money. And which is what, I mean, obviously you should follow your passions in life.
Exactly.
But that's kind of, but then obviously when I started the job, I actually did have I did like the job. I mean, you have good bad days, but I knew it was a career where I could sort of develop and grow. And the skill sets in that job are a lot more aligned to me as a person. As in the position I am now, I'm in a leadership position and manage quite a fair amount of people. And being able to be in a leadership position, but also deliver things technically. So like that. But to answer your question, no, I never had a dream or a destination to want to work in construction, but kind of sort of worked out that way.
Oh, but that's cool. So for a kid that, is looking at construction and seeing all these people that are doing construction like yourself. So what's your number one thing of advice you would give to somebody that is trying to pursue a passion, not only construction, but kind of just trying to become successful in any of their fields?
Show up.
Exactly. I said the same thing.
It's 90% of what you do is about showing up and sacrifice. I heard a really good quote recently. Who said it? It was, everything is workoutable, right? So I always think when you want to achieve something in your career, when you want to do something, you always say, I can't, it seems to be the first place that your brain goes.
Yeah, it's no, it doesn't ever want you to think
But the advice I would give to people is just to shift your focus away from. First piece of advice would be, don't do what everyone else does. If you spend your life doing what everyone else does, you're never going to achieve anything, right? It's logic, right? If you follow what everyone else does, then it becomes really difficult for you to have any originality about your life or to grow and develop as a person, right? You've got to find your own way, find a small group of good friends, and then I have a close knit group of friends, and then just the set targets and show up. That honestly, that is basically the vast
That's
majority.
free game from all for everyone in here. That's like free game. I remember my first week in real estate. Whenever I started, it was my team lead now was like, the one thing that there's a couple of things you can control, and it's just showing up. Like showing up is one thing, like no debate, that you can control every single day. Like showing up, whether you're going to like prospect at a coffee shop, you're going to in my field at least, prospect in a coffee shop, or show up at the office, or go show a house, or it's just a bunch of stuff that you can do to show up. It's not just about, like there's something that you could be doing. It's just small wins every single day is what I've been focusing on personally. It's not about, it's so easy on social media to focus on long-term gains because it looks like people got it, but it never shows what people did to get it. So it's short-term gains.
Sacrifice. It's about showing up, and obviously you've got to have your fun, right? You've got to do
exactly right.
But it's just all about showing up and being dedicated. It really, unless you're extremely lucky and you win the lottery or whatever, like for 99% of us, that's what it is. And don't be afraid either of because when I could have got married in England and had kids by now and done all of that thing, from an early age. But I got offered a job in Dubai. Like I'd never even been to the Middle East, and I was just like, right, I'm just gonna go. Like, don't be afraid to just go, because most of the time it's just your mind playing games with you, right? You should just go, figure it out, and then not only will you have traveled and done things and tried something new, but you'll have grown like exponentially as a person, and you will have people telling you it's a bad idea in whatever you challenge in life, but it's just because they're too afraid to do it, basically.
Yeah, I'm going off that point. I can speak on that kind of from my perspective too. I mean, I came from college. I left college early. If y'all knew the podcast, I left college a little bit early, and I had a lot of people in my circle that were telling me this is probably a bad idea. You're leaving a safe spot where you can go get a degree and you can get a job and make like a set amount of money. But at the end of the day, I feel like if there's something that is telling you to go do something, and it's just in the back of your mind, just sitting there.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to run with it. And a lot of people told me it's a bad idea. And then, we're out here doing it. So,
like I said, like people who, unless it's your family and it comes from a genuine care. Like my mother didn't want me to go to the Middle East because she loves me and was worried. But for other people who like, your friends and stuff like that, or people in your peripheral sort of circle, a lot of them will say like, bad idea. No, stay here. Let's do this. Let's just go to the same bar every weekend, and let's get a wife and kids when we're like 28 and get a house. And then this is like forever. It's like, Jesus, like we get one life, and like you should go and. I think people these days focus more on what society expects of rather than what they actually want, right?
Yeah, because it's so easy to see a perspective and just like a persona of somebody. If you just like open up Instagram, the first post you see, TikTok, the first post you see, it's so easy to adopt a mindset. And and honestly, I heard a good, like when I was playing basketball throughout high school, I heard like one of my coaches, like literally, this man is so great. And he would just say, your friends is like, who you are is a visualization of who you hang out with. It's like a projection of your friend group.
Yeah, I agree. Like that.
Once I adopted better friends, and I put more people in my circle who support me, and, people that are doing the things I want to do. It's more motivating, I feel like.
Yeah. And what you'll notice as well is like when you're younger, like when you're 20, right? So
20 years old.
You're younger, right? So your friend circle will be like this, right? Like it'll be huge, it'll be big. But as you get older, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller because you only want to spend time with those people that you definitely know you're gonna get some like you're comfortable around, right? Like, but when you're younger, it's like, oh, let's just be friends with everyone. Things change.
No, exactly. I was like that a couple years ago, and then it's
But
just
in your case, though, in your case, like maybe you're a little bit different because you still like staying in on the Saturday night, even though you're 20. I was 20 years of age. You wouldn't see me for
man,
2 weeks. I'd be like
man, it's
partying.
I've been at open houses every weekend, just going to bed early, waking up, grinding. So yeah, man, I appreciate the time coming on talking about, all this stuff and
Yeah,
insight about what you do. It was a lot of value. I mean, that's the reason for the podcast is provide value. It's not about residential real estate necessarily. It's kind of just about you describing, and then because everything kind of relates. Like your business relates to real estate that I'm doing at the same time. Just like there's certain aspects that always add on to it, and then even somebody who's not related in the real estate business can still get value out of it because
yeah,
you
yeah,
know, like even all the opportunities you took, it's always about just providing that value. Like somebody could have heard the message today about just go, like just go take it, and that could have
yeah.
been something that propels somebody. So
If
yeah, I appreciate it.
it has things like small things like have a knock on effect as well. And by you would I would never have thought in a million years I'd know how to build skyscrapers, like never ever ever. But just because you take opportunities, you like sometimes like when you're a lot younger, you fake it till you make it kind of thing. You've got to go for because most people do that, right? They just take every opportunity and then they grow and develop. So take every opportunity you can, and on the other side of fear is everything you want, is what they say, isn't it? So you should keep going.
No, exactly, and I completely agree. I mean, even the opportunities, like something comes up, you can't leave something on the table. Never leave an opportunity on
Yeah. All right. Well, let me know when you want to do this again.
But yeah, I mean, if y'all want to see Dean back on, I mean, we could probably go on more. We could probably talk for another 45 minutes at this point, but we're going to wrap it up. But yeah,
My English accent. You can,
yeah, if you want to hear the English accent in the car, just to relax you. But yeah, I'll definitely bring him on for a part two. I think it's pretty insightful. We can go in depth about, just real estate in general.
Yeah.
We kind of just did a broad topic today. It's kind of some motivational stuff, obviously.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but I appreciate everyone tuning in. Second episode, third episode, I'm bringing on one of my buddies from high school, and he does residential real estate, and he buys properties, flips them. Like, it's a bunch of stuff that's super cool that relates directly to my business. But for people that want to invest in real estate, it's going to be a great conversation. So yeah, I'll bring Dean on in a couple more weeks, and yeah, I appreciate you coming on. It was pretty short notice, but
My
got it
pleasure.
together.
My pleasure.
All right. Well, appreciate everyone for tuning in. Remember, episodes every single Tuesday. And yeah. All right.
See you later.
Bye, y'all.